going to go live here. And then we'll go live here. Hi, everybody. Hang in. We're going to be right with you. I hit the wrong button. What? Where'd it go? There it is. Welcome in, everybody, to the wonderful world of Ask a Bookkeeper with the bookkeeper herself, Steph Conley from Steph'sBooks.com. Today, websites and marketing, and a special guest. Take it away.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm Stephanie with Steph's Bookkeeping. So, today we decided to talk about some websites, marketing, something that could be one of your bigger expense items, but also have the biggest return on investment and potentially help you or prevent you from having to do multiple other options. Since obviously that's not really a thing right now with the current climate of still. So I brought also my business partner for the Steph's Bookkeeping. And so he handles all of the back end things for our business, like our website, and working with our marketing teams and various other things. So he would be a better person to talk to about that. So we're going to kind of share our struggles as a small business and what we went through to get to the point that we're at now, 3 years in. So I don't know if you wanted to. Do you want me to just ask you a question?
I got
sure,
one.
I
got how. So for a small business, how important is the website in today's world?
I think you have to have a website because, for one, it just professionalizes your company. You know, it's one thing for the website to be optimized for SEO, but it's also just that it's a good selling tool if people are just wondering about your service.
Because I see a lot, and you do too, I'm sure. I see a lot of Facebooks. I've got a Facebook page.
Right. Works. Yeah.
Right. And not necessarily a website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a great avenue for people. Some people, I mean, in those instances where their Facebook page is driving a lot of their business, you know, it can absolutely work when and they don't really need a big presence on the search engine.
Right. So you don't need a 10-page website.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. If you have a strong Facebook presence, you know, you can definitely get away without having a website in that instance for sure.
Depends on the business too, I suppose.
I think it depends on the business. You know, I think it like you said, the business, the industry, the type of clients you're trying to target. You know, that you're going to find a certain type of client on Facebook versus going on LinkedIn versus going on, you know, if you're business B2C, B2B, whatever, you know, whatever business, you know, industry you're in. You know, it just, you know, it depends. You know, for us, you know, I think Facebook's been good for us, but, you know, we've been able to build up our web presence through SEO, which is starting to come to fruition for us too.
Nice. And so let's take it on the other side. How often do you update? Because there are still a lot of 1990 feeling, right? So on Anything Goes with Brimmer and Jones this week, we had Reese's Barkery and Pautique, and it's that old. Here's some clip art, here's some pictures, and it's all words information, right? So how often should a small business look at updating or upgrading or changing that website? Like
honestly, for me, like when I'm searching, like I don't necessarily care super much how a website looks. Like that doesn't bother me. What's important is the information, you know, the content that's on the website. Like, is it answering my question? Is it solving my problem? Or do you provide a service that I want to purchase? You know, amongst all those things. And now I think on an e-commerce thing where you have like a selling experience and all of that, I think that's a completely different animal where you have to be really relevant and clean and polished and a really nice user experience for that. But for us, I don't know. I think us presenting our services in a clear manner, you know, having content that's relevant, which will drive traffic to our website, which kind of showcases our expertise. all of that builds trust with the clients, with potential leads, so that's, I think that's what's really important, at least for us.
And then as a small business, I mean, because I can go to Fiverr, I can go to somebody who's going to cost more but still use Fiverr. I'm going to go through, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things, and all of a sudden, I'm as a small business paying $800 a month, on the promise that I'm going to get business.
And on top of that is that can be a lot of money for a business. And the way SEO works, if you're starting from zero with the search engines, you may not see anything for 6 months. So now you say you spend $1,000 with some guy that says he's going to get you whatever ranking on Google. All right. And before you even know that guy's capable or doing his job, you've already $6,000 in with that person, which can be a big hit for a company. But I think even if money's no object, it's 6 months of time that you put in. You can't get that time back that you just wasted hoping that this strategy would work. So I think it's hard because I feel like a lot of small businesses don't track their leads very closely. Even if you ask for, like you ask for a referral, like what guy you're using. Oh, I'm using this guy and he's been great and blah, 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 blah. How many calls are you getting from Google? They don't ask.
Right.
So you don't know how great their marketing is.
Well, that's it. That's the other question is a lot of times as a small business owner, I'm going to set it and forget it. Hey, I hired you to do this. I don't have time to worry about it. I'll give you a drip out of my account every month. But again, how is it a monthly? How often should you be touching the person who's working with you to drive those numbers?
The company we're currently working with is that we do a meeting with them every month. Okay, and we kind of do a monthly strategy meeting. In the beginning, it was much more frequently. We're doing a meeting a week, if not 2 weeks, or 2 meetings a week, to kind of get to help them understand our industry, help them understand our business, kind of give them some ideas for strategy for content while they go out there and do their own research. But really, you're kind of filling the hopper for the month. All right, this is what I'm expecting you to work on, and this is what you're targeting. This is what you're doing. So for us, I spend an hour now a month with the company. In the beginning it wasn't like that, but now that's my time commitment with them specifically. And if I have some ideas, then obviously, I'll put some more time into it. If I want to write some content, and provide them with ideas, then that's just more of my time. But really, it's an hour, and that's just being with the right company.
Sure. Yeah. That's finding the right fit.
Yeah.
And so your web is interactive a bit, right? I mean, it's good look options. I mean, it's not like not just one page and then contact us at the bottom.
Right.
You guys have some
we have
some
our
walkthroughs.
our pricing calculators on there. Our client contact form is on there. We have articles and content on there.
Videos.
There's some videos on there. There's an About Us page in case people want to know about us. Services that we offer. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff on our website. But like for me, because I know we did a whole show before about outsourcing and when it's time to outsource and looking at things that aren't your strength. For me, as a small business owner, marketing and the website stuff, not my strength. Happy to offload that at the first opportunity that I was able to offload it. But then what I realized, because we went through 3 or 4 marketing companies until we found one that we felt was a good fit for us, that it was kind of like really, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't know how to check and balance them the same way I know how to check and balance like books.
Right.
Because I don't know what I'm doing. But now, as I've learned what I don't like, now I know how to kind of check those things. So the whole point of the show today is to kind of hopefully provide some of those small business owners that are looking to take that leap and start really optimizing and using their websites as their kind of salesperson, so that maybe they could avoid going through some of those costly mistakes. Because you figure if we've gone through 4 companies, I think 3 websites, you could kind of tally that up over a 3-year period of time. Like it was kind of an expensive mistake.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the learning curve, and that's what I mean, the time. Like, if you would have found the person for the right company the first year, who knows where the company would be right now?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's the time thing that I'm talking
Well,
about.
and that's one thing I think to be careful of.
Right.
Here at 216 The Net, now we were pretty loyal to some people that we knew,
Right.
And we're locked into a I think
minimum 6 months, right? They want a minimum 6 months.
Well, this was a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Right. And and not knowing what we didn't know at that point felt good. But as we go on and we're like, hey, we added a show and we added this and we need this on there. Oh, well, that's going to cost you. Oh, and we're like, I what? No, we're fine with that. You just have to, keep it under this amount or whatever. And we're like, oh boy.
We have a question from Facebook. Rich, as a small business owner, what would you say is the key to making a first-time terrific tamale?
Good stuff and good meat.
Smoking it. The smoking. The smoking.
Finding a good YouTube video.
That's right. So there's that, right? So what do you suggest to small businesses that are just looking? How should it be 6 months? Should it be a year? Should it be month to month? What are you thinking?
I think people should check references. I think that's one thing that we didn't do that I wish we would have done. Because after we joined forces with a couple marketing companies, and then we decided to start getting references and talking to other people in the local community, then we found out some stuff, and then we compared it to our stuff, and we're like, oh, dang, like that's totally happening to us right now. I mean, when we first started off, we built our website on Squarespace. So we built our own website. I thought it was amazing, but I guess it looked a little homemade. So we had that. Then we were like, okay, let's hire a company. So then we hired a company, and then they provided all the SEO. They optimized the articles and everything like that, but they owned the website. It was really inexpensive. But the problem is that there was no call to action for us as an individual business that they were servicing. So every single bookkeeping or accounting company that they were working with got the same exact articles, the same exact stuff. And it was like national.
Makes the job easy.
Like locally, we really didn't run into any like, oh, like the bitch stole my look kind of thing,
right. Right.
But it was more so we couldn't get that call to action for us individually. So it wasn't as successful as it could have been. Mm-hmm. So then when we decided to leave them and hire another company, we had to then build a whole new website again. So now we're at this point on our third website, but we didn't check references, and we should have cut ties with that company probably within the first 45 days. Like we just weren't professionally compatible. Yeah. Super nice people. We just weren't professionally compatible, and they weren't used to doing websites and content for our specific industry, which is something that we found was a challenge. So they said that they had a content writer. They brought him in. Rich was reading the articles and stuff like that. And it was like somebody in middle school wrote these articles and just kind of copied and pasted random things and thoughts from various sources and put it in an article. And we're like, that this doesn't sound like professional. Some of the stuff isn't correct. Some of it isn't applicable to our business and the services that we provide.
But it had keywords in it, right?
Yes, it had keywords. So that kind of happened there. And then we did another website, which is the one that we currently have. And I'm happy with the way that website turned out and looks. But the problem with that one is that the person that did that website didn't do content. Yeah. So we had to write content, and then there was no check or balance on the content that was put on there. And so if there was like a spelling error, nobody said anything. Mm-hmm. So like that was kind of.
Yeah, you want to find somebody who can color in the lines.
Well, I just kind of figured
you're micromanaging something now, right? Like you're just hired a company. Now you're micromanaging.
You're doing it. They're just
right. Like I'm like, I shouldn't have to spell check something. Yeah. Come on.
Just want to give a quick shout out to our guy Sean Cavanaugh from Goosehead Insurance. You need a good piece on some homeowners or Sean a call.
Oh, that who said hi to you?
Yeah.
But
First time listener.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he like the YouTube? You better, Sean, you better go like the YouTube.
Yeah, he did.
We need...
We're up to 121.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I wouldn't let him out of here before that.
Getting close. Getting close. But you know, so these are the kind of, and then now and then like you have to make sure that, I guess I didn't know this at the time, but I guess your videos and your photos need to be optimized in a certain format, because otherwise it's going to cause your site to lag,
to slow down. Yeah.
and then you have that whole problem, because I don't know if anybody else is hate having to wait for a page to load. Like I'll just over with it and move on to the next thing. And so, and also the biggest thing for everybody out there is to check, do an obscene amount of test runs on any contact forms, pricing calculators, anything that you have on your website that's going to be a call to action kind of thing. Make sure all those buttons work, all the forms work, make sure it's going to the correct email address, make sure your Facebook link or your LinkedIn link all works.
Yeah.
Like those were things that I didn't really check, because I just assumed I hired a professional to do it and they would just facilitate it.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, now we kind of fast forward. We have, I think, a good system and a good thing that we have in place that we like. And now we're getting like 3 to 5 calls a week.
Wow.
Through people finding us on Google. And so it was really cool. The company that was referred to us by one of our clients, they put these keywords in, and then they tap in, they try and find wherever the weak point is for people searching for bookkeepers, where there's like little to no competition. And then now they're putting us in those areas. So now the person that had no competition now has at least one person as competition.
Nice.
So they really did their due diligence to find those like missing pieces.
Yeah, they try to find stuff, that keywords that aren't super competitive. Like you have some pretty enormous companies with some very large SEO budgets competing for like Bookkeeper.
Sure.
Just the word bookkeeper. I mean, it's a very hard keyword to show up for, you know. But if you look up like QuickBooks versus Excel, right? Like you start taking that route. Well, now you're starting to catch people that are kind of coming out of that growth stage, you know, the startup stage, and coming and wanting to move into a software. So now they're looking for a bookkeeper, somebody to set it up. So you get away from these really competitive keywords, and they found some of these low-hanging fruit that were really easy for us to kind of slip in there and start showing up in results.
And of course, always marketing with 216thenet is a great idea, folks. Reach out to us at 216thenet.com or 216thenet@gmail.com. And of course, if they want great bookkeeping, right now is the best time to reach out to you, because taxes and everything from 2020. And how do they do that?
They could give me a call at 847-942-3004. Email me at steph@stephsbooks.com. Go to our website, stephsbooks.com. They could come to our office and the high-rise Tanyan building off of 31 in McHenry. Or if you guys mention the radio show, I will give 25% off a cleanup project to get your taxes prepared and ready to close out your 2020 year. So if you mention us and mention the show, then we will give you 25% off.
And you did not raise your price 50% to give them 25% off, right?
75%.
Yeah, right.
I plead the fifth.
Right. No. Here's another question, I guess, and that I've seen is, especially when it comes to websites, marketing, things like that, is not hitting, like dates. Hey, this baby, we should have rocking and rolling and ready to go by,
right?
March 1st.
Milestones, yeah.
And as you're thinking about doing your marketing and websites, if the people that you're working with are missing those, I mean, you might want to work that into the contract or whatever. Say, hey, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and giving you what you need, and we're still not hitting this, that, I mean, they may be super good at what they do, but they just may be super busy, and now they're blowing you off, right, or whatever.
For sure. Yeah, and that's what was nice about working with this company is they're super streamlined and super organized. We signed the contract, and 48 hours later, we had the whole calendar of what to expect.
Wow.
So for the next 30 days, this is what we're looking like. In the next 60 days, is what we're looking like. Next 90 days is what we're looking like. And everything was on a calendar. This is all of our meetings. This is the information you need. Got like 5 or 6 emails of questionnaires of information they needed, which, if you want to hit this timeline, well, this is your accountability. This is what you need to give them to be successful.
Yeah.
So, so we got all that taken care of. And I mean, they delivered on all of that. That wasn't a problem at all.
That's good.
We should probably mention the name of the company, right?
Yeah, if you guys are happy with them, sure. Give them a shout out.
WebFX, and they are based out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The letter F, the letter X.
Yeah.
WebFX.
WebFX.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of like WebFX.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, super good. That's very happy with them. So
how'd you guys find them?
One of our clients recommended them to us because they had the previous marketing company that we were using. They had used them as well, and then they switched to WebFX, and has had pretty good success with them. Because what do they say? Because if you're investing like $1,000 a month into your SEO, you should be getting $4,000 back on your ROI for that.
You're hoping to get some kind of multiple of that,
sure,
whatever you want your return. I mean, 4 times your investment into the marketing. So if we're spending $1,000, we're hoping to be closing $4,000 worth of new business. Every month.
Well, and that's where you have to understand that your business has no friends. You have friends, right? So what a lot of small businesses will do, and I'm very active in chambers and things like that. What a lot of small businesses will do is, hey, you and I have a relationship. So you know what? Yeah, I've seen you at the chamber, picked up your card. I've had a couple drinks with you. You seem all right. Yeah, let's
friend, right? That becomes a problem.
Let's do it. And then it's hard to have those talks if they're
not delivering.
Yeah, if they're not delivering or you're not delivering, it's also hard for them to. So you guys went outside of the area because you found that best for your business, which I think is a huge lesson a lot of people need to learn is, the world is pretty flat, with the internet. You've got a great relationship, now when you can Zoom and whatnot, and they're delivering. That's what you want.
Right.
But because you have a friend and, you decided to go with a friend, that's why I say never get into business with family or friends.
I agree.
Right?
It can be tough to kind of sever that relationship,
Yeah.
And you always do it, when you're in the final straw. You don't do it when you know you should do it, and you don't do it then.
Yeah.
So you hang hopefully some kind of conversation, and it's just going nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you gotta have the conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's clean, sometimes it's not. So.
And those leads can be your heartbeat to your business. Like poof, 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 poof. Here they come. And if your heart's going poof.
Right. That's everything. I mean, that's the one thing I first learned about business is I've always kind of been in operations, not really on the sales side stuff. But sales is everything, man. I mean, that's the lifeline of the business, and solving that puzzle as a company, of how you're going to have a steady stream of leads, how you're going to close leads, how you're going to take on, new growth, new clients. That's the most important part, I think, of starting a business. Very, very.
Yeah. And I mean, here at 21.6, we still have a good relationship, with our web developer, and they do exactly a good job for what they're supposed to do. But we've grown since we signed that contract, and now our needs are a little bit different. The world is a little bit different, and we need to take a look at that. And we love them and are grateful for the relationship and the work that they've done. But here at 21.6 and that, we also have to start thinking with our budget. Okay, are we getting what we're paying for? Is it and so. Doesn't mean that we're going to go someplace else, but we may renegotiate differently, right? So,
and Rich kind of touched on this earlier in the conversation too about tracking the leads. I have to ask where or how you heard of us. Otherwise, somebody, I have to have a meeting about not asking. So, in my CRM, there's about 15 different sources of where we have stuff from. I even have my car lettering. So if people see me driving around, that's an option. the networking stuff through the chambers. So I have each chamber that we belong to has its own category. Google, Pro Advisor website, Facebook, LinkedIn. Like we have so many different things on there. So this way we could then go back and do a comparison and do a percentage comparison, because obviously a lot of the stuff on Facebook is kind of guerrilla marketing and it's kind of free unless you want to pay for ads. But we could track that and see how that's going and if that's maybe worth investing in ads, or if LinkedIn is our main source and things like that. Like I just don't think people realize how important it is to really drill into your staff or to yourself to ask who found us, because then you back to your website people or your marketing team and say, hey, this is the amount of leads we've gotten from Google. This isn't our exact client, either size of the client or the location or whatever it is. We need to edit our strategy and then, you know, make this adjustment and move forward, because they can only be as successful as you like provide the support to them to help them be successful.
Yeah. If we're getting a lot of tax leads, for example, like we don't provide tax services, but if for whatever reason the content that we're having on our website is targeting tax clients, well, those aren't our clients, right? Even though it's in the accounting field, we were looking for bookkeeping clients. We kind of need to readjust, you know, our strategy with that. But yeah, and that kind of points to the fact of checking the leads, like making sure you're tracking that, because that's how we knew we had to change companies. We're like, all right, it's been 6 months. How many leads have we gotten through Google that we can attribute? Oh, one, and we just spent like, all right, we got to make a change. You know, this has to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of wrapping cars, you have a winter car? You're not driving that blue thing around in the snow. Man, you are crazy. It's a beautiful
He
car.
takes my car on the day that it snows. So
oh, yeah.
that's when I work from home. But
I love that car. I was like, man, I wonder if he got a beater for the winter.
Jimmy popped in and is watching.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you can say hi to him.
That's it.
That
is good.
Hi, Jimmy.
But, and I know that we're coming to like kind of the end of the half hour. I also wanted to point out and let everybody know I'll be posting a small, about 15 to 30 second video on our Facebook page showing how to pull the comparison report for the new PPP 2.0 loans, since now those applications, I believe, are being received by multiple banks at this point. And you need to do the comparison, your quarterly comparison, and show your percentage change in revenue. And if you have QuickBooks Plus or higher, you could do that and also include the percentage change all there on the report, so you don't have to manually calculate it. If you have Simple Start, Self-Employed, and I believe Essentials, you'll have to pull it and export them and merge them in Excel, in an Excel spreadsheet, or pull 2 different PDFs and do a slight manual calculation. But I'll be showing that, and that should go on our Facebook page probably this evening before 6. So watch for that as well.
And if you're not getting the results you like, doesn't mean stop and get rid of it. I mean, it means that you're not with the right group of people.
Yeah, I just want to give up.
Yeah,
you know,
don't.
Like
it's important. You've already put some money into it, but
those are all lessons learned, man.
Yeah.
And so
nice. And of course, if people want to, you know, get their books cleaned, they contact you where?
They could call me at 847-944. Email me at Steph@Steph'sBooks.com. Steph'sBooks.com, and fill out our pricing calculator. I believe last year we had a post that showed a ballpark price based upon your revenue of how much cleanups would be for a whole year. So I'll probably repost that and get that at the top of our page as well.
And any last parting shots there, Rich, for people looking at the small businesses, thinking of the marketing, thinking of websites, SEOs?
Yeah, all I can say is get with the right company.
Yep.
You know, I think that's the most important part. You know, if you're not going to do it yourself, you know, I mean, if you want to take on that beast, then take on that beast.
That's right.
It is fine. Is making sure you're getting set up with the right company. And like you said, don't just go with the company because they're a friend of a friend. You know, make sure that they can deliver on what they say.
Hey, if you're going to hire an employee, you're going to interview them once or twice. So having a bunch of interviews is well worth it when you're talking about your marketing.
Yeah. You'll know right away.
Oh yeah. All right. So for all of us here, 216 The Nat, this has been another great episode of Ask a Bookkeeper with Steph Books. Always kind of silent out on that Steph's. Anyway, come back at 6:30 for Whining with Dawn. Wrap up your week with a little wine and some ladies who, well, are going to make fun of pretty much anybody who's not a lady.